going to review what we went over last week with the armbar, and then we're going to add some wrinkles onto that, and then some defensive tactics as well. So I'm here on Thursday, if you were here, paying attention, yes. So I'm here, I'm attacking Gavin's arm, and naturally he's going to start to defend himself, naturally as he should. All I'm going to do is I'm going to trap this wrist, grabbing my wrist. So my top hand grabs his wrist, my hand that's underneath his armpit is going to grab my own wrist. I'm going to snug myself right on up ear to ear with him. And as I come here, I'm going to cut my angle. My bottom leg is going to become a seatbelt, and I'm going to set him over to the side here. So now I have my more grip, this leg seatbelted across. I'm going to roll my elbow to the top side of his neck, pass my leg over, attach this to my chest, pull back, attack the arm. Same thing we were working Tuesday, or last Thursday, so I'm here. Gavin starts to attack, I trap the top wrist. Here. Cut my angle off to the side, just like when I was going for that bow and arrow shot. I bring this out to the side, over the top. Now, a couple details that I felt like we were missing once we got to this position. The hand that is in his elbow, let's go. So, hand that is in the elbow, I need to attach this to my chest. Couple options for this. I can either, if I'm real gi savvy, you can reach up, grab your own gi here. I'm just always going to kind of palm to chest here, just because it gives me more options. Because we were here, I'm going to bring this into my chest, attach it to me. So now when I go to pull on this arm, it's not my arms versus his arms. It's my chest, back, and hips versus his arm. Remember, I don't fight fair. Why am I going to fight your arm versus my arm? It's way too fair of a fight, and I don't lift it. Attach that to my chest so I can use a lot more stuff in line with it. The other thing, my leg that was a little lower on the body, I'm now going to drag up and bring into his armpit with my top leg over his face, and I'm going to pinch my knees here. Now, this is going to tighten up your armbar. Do not cross your feet. It feels natural. I understand that. Until you are technically proficient enough to go from here to the other side without touching the mat, do not cross your feet. And if you're like, Dustin, that's not possible. Yes, it is. I'll show you later. But until then, you do not have the proficiency to use this technique well enough to be using it as opposed to pinching and tightening your arm. Make sense? Now, I've attached this. Now, I'm gonna naturally, I'm already here, I like to just come underneath and kind of cup the wrist this way. Because if I fight him at his elbow and Gavin locks his hands here, I can fight him at his elbow as much as I want. His elbow doesn't move. I have to extend him at the end of the lever here and pull at this wrist. That's going to allow that to attach. Now remember, we attach this to our chest, fall back, raise our hips. We do not pull the lever across. This is an equal fight of arms. This is my back and all of me getting to attack this arm. Makes it a lot tighter. Questions on the details once we get to here. Like I said, the biggest thing is the hand that is through the elbow. Attach that elbow to your chest. If you like the collar grip, great, grab it. I'm not a gi player, I don't do enough of it, I don't know. This bottom hand that was on top of the wrist, bring it to the bottom. Because that's going to allow you grips. Attach it to your chest, fall back. Questions on that portion of the armbar? I'm going to walk through it step by step a few more times, but questions on that portion. All right, next. So I'm here. Like last week, we're attacking and trapping that wrist. My top hand attaches here. I cut my angle off. Once I get here, I'm going to naturally cheat this leg up first, just in case I need to run any interference with this hand. Here, attach, under, fall back, pinch the knees, raise the hips. Questions on that? nothing on a super technical armbar from the back position that we've done once. No question. Let's all go fuck it up then. 1, 2. Literally everyone said it. All right, so we're here. Couple details I want to focus on. One, when I set him off to this side, if I feel like he's falling on top of my leg, which is happening to a bunch of you guys, like you're coming here and you're like, hey, he lands like on my leg. Two things we're not doing. One, we're not cutting our angle, and we're not leaving our knee out. So when I'm here and I cut this angle, I'm not trying to stay directly kind of my chest logo on his back logo. I want to have my chest logo like on his shoulder. So when I cut this angle over, I'm all the way over here. That allows this leg, even I'm not the most flexible person, that allows my knee to come over his shoulder. And that allows me to have this position here. The other question I keep getting is we're here and I can't seem to get my arm out. Guys, if we need to, I can lean. The other thing, a lot of you guys are trying to hold this like a Kimura already. You're like, I have a Kimura. I can't bend my arms or extend my LCA. Guys, you're keeping your grip, but your arms can go a little looser here. You don't have to be like, ah, the entire time through this. Once I get here, if I stay locked, it's going to be hard to get my elbow out. But if I loosen that arm out, swings right around. Other detail I'm not liking. A lot of the time we're bringing our foot over and just kind of very gently placing it. And here that's fine. When I bring this leg around, I want to turn his face that way. Allows his face to look away from me. Don't look at me. You can look at me. Then I'm here. Now, last detail, if he's got a good grip here and we're going to break this, I break with the bottom leg, not the head leg. This leg goes into the armpit to break. I saw a couple of you guys being like, oh hey, I'll relieve all the pressure off his head so that he can move a lot. When I'm here, this leg is heavy. This is lead. It doesn't go anywhere. This leg, if I lose this and he starts moving around and doing crazy stuff, it's fine. Questions on those details? Alright, throw that out a few more times, then we'll jump to the next thing. 1, 2. On the back from not a we took the back position, but he's going to be in turtle. So we're here. We've got our backpack and we're doing all the fun stuff, right? But it's really hard to like fall off the side and make him do all the stuff we want him to do because he's not seated like we're used to. You'll end up here a lot, especially in tournament settings, because if you go to turtle, you don't give up pass points. A lot of tournaments. Now, if they get to the back, you'll give up back points, but you don't give up the 2 hacks. A lot of times. So a lot of guys have been trained to sit to this turtle position. You defend the hooks and you're fine. You don't give up any points to it. Then you can re-guard and go from there.
So if I'm in your car and I pass you over like
over to my back, yes, you get no points.
It happened to me 5 times. You have to get a guard, one turtle, fail out,
No points. So, I'm here. I got my backpack and I've gotten the wrist grip. So now we're going to work falling off to a belly down arm. Alright? So I'm here. I got that grip. First thing I'm going to do is bring that elbow into his ear. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find his elbow with my chest. As I do that, my shin is going to go to the back of his neck. So I'm here, here. And I'm going to fall to my shoulder here, where my chest is open to his legs. As I'm here, I'm going to stay here, keeping heavy pressure on his head with my chin, heavy grip here on the arm. Because he's naturally going to start grabbing his pants or anything he can get a hold of because he's done fucked up here. I'm going to grip and bring this very slowly to my chest. Now we're going to work staying belly down here. So all we're going to do is extend slowly, and our partner is going to tap because this hurts pretty quickly. Then we're going to work what happens when you roll next. So we're here, and I'm attacking this arm. So I'm here, My elbow comes to the side. I'm gonna come here, here, and here. Once I'm here, I attach this elbow to my chest and bring his wrist to my cheek. Once I'm here, belly down off. Biggest thing is mastering that fall off, and you're like, man, that's got to be hard. It looks harder the first like 3 times you do it, then you start to figure out which way to turn. But I'm here, my elbow comes to the other side. My chin comes over, and I fall to that. Once I'm facing his legs, I extend. Here, back. Questions on that? It's an odd position and an odd motion. But it's one that you will end up in, and I want you to have a decent attack. Questions on that? At the same time, it's kind of an A-B type of slam. It's not a 1 then 2 with the kind of motion. Realistically, you're probably going to get elbow first, then shin's going to connect, but realistically, you should be attacking that. Other questions on that? Yes. So what he's asking is if Gavin starts to move his hand around, so if I'm here, right? He starts turning his hands different directions. All I'm doing is trying to get the thumb pointed away from me. So even if I have to manipulate that at the wrist, I have to get that thumb pointed away from me. Because I can pull his arm this way, but there's not a lot of things going to happen because his elbow is pointed the wrong way. Get that thumb pointed away from me, much different story. And we're not falling flat here, guys. I should be on my side. So when I'm here, I'm not laying back and down like this. I'm staying belly down to fight it this way. Okay?
So are you basically kicking that leg through his head the whole time?
Yes, I'm keeping a lot of front pressure on this head. Biggest reason is if I leave this shin off, he's gonna posture his head up, start walking around me. Nothing good starts to happen. So I'm blocking that, and what we're trying to do, guys, realize 9 times out of 10 you're not finishing right here. He's gonna jump. And that's what we're gonna work next, is how to follow and finish that. But I want you to get used to finishing that belly down first, because it's gonna help you in a lot of different armbar positions to be able to follow that arm. Does that make sense? So, I'm here. I'm in the backpack position. I grab that wrist, I come out. I'm falling off, bringing this into the back of the head, turning into his shoulder. Keeping pressure here so that he can't run in, like pressure into me or start walking in. That allows me to attach here and attach. Questions on that, guys? Kind of through the top of his chest is always kind of where I'm going to want that. Where it lands is always going to be more positional. But in an ideal world, it's driving shin bone across his chest, across the middle of his chest plate. Right. Other questions on that? Right. See, well, guys are like, man, this is a really complicated move and this is really hard. Congrats. Somewhere in between the mid-blue to purple belt type of move. So if you're like, man, I'm a white belt, I don't get this. Congrats, you should. If you're a purple belt and you're not getting it, I mean, Jesus. But realize this is a step up in our curriculum. This is part of our, like, when I actually, you look at our belt rank stuff, it's in like the mid-blue purple range. So realize if you're struggling with this, don't beat yourself up. This is designed to be a hard technique to grasp. That's why it's at the end of our back series. Alright? Now, I'm here. I attack this arm right. I go to fall off, I'm here, and Gavin instantly starts to feel this pressure. Most guys are going to do one of a couple things. one, they're going to start setting grips into their pants and doing all that stuff. That's fine. The other thing that I can force them to do, and I like to force this roll just by pressing my shin down and away from me. See how that forces him to roll? That's the natural reaction I want. Because guess what that gives me? Pass my leg back over, back into a traditional arm. So, if I'm here, and I'm attacking this arm here, right? I'm here, I fall to this shoulder. This foot is pressing down and away. See how naturally that gives him the space he needs to want to roll? And if I'm not getting the roll I want, like he's just hanging out, kind of grabbing his pants here, I'll even grab his leg to help him out. Once I'm here, that leg passes back over. Now I can break grips and do what I need to do here. Questions on forcing that roll? Yeah, I'm forcing his head away so that naturally you'll feel it. Like the natural defense here is.
Are you just applying the normal pressure on that arm? You're not trying to turn it like
Yeah.
at all?
No, I'm not trying to rip it that way because what I'm trying to force here is the natural. You have to, it's kind of like chess. You have to be a step ahead of a step here. So I'm attacking. I know he's going to defend, so my attack has to be that next step in front of that defense. So I go here. He knows I'm armbarring. I know I'm armbarring. We're both on the same street here, right? I'm going to fall off this way. He knows he's going to defend and try to roll out of this, right? That's why all I'm doing is keeping the armbar and following that pressure. Now, one thing we're going to work once we get here is just breaking this grip. Most people are going to set some sort of an arm grip this way. They think, oh, I can grab my hands, I can grab my forearm, whatever it happens to be, right? And if you're a big, strong guy, you can hang out here for a minute. But I have a couple things I can do to break this defense. White belts, all you're going to do, my bottom leg comes to his forearm, or the middle of his bicep. I kick start my dirt bike, attack at the wrist, right? Just like we've worked before, partners, make sure you lock your hands so they have to break that grip. Blue belts and up. Congrats, prison rules. All you're going to do, you're going to stay in that Kimura grip. We're going to fall off to the side, and our leg that is on his head is going to come over his wrist. My leg that's over his body, cups. Squeeze. Bicep slicer. For those of you guys who compete, generally this is only in expert divisions, or sometimes purple belt and up. Yeah, you can get DQ'd for this. Yeah, but we're here. I set my grip. All I'm doing, falling off to that side. Covering, he'll let go and you can armbar from there. Questions on forcing that roll and then breaking the grip? Yeah. So here, biggest thing is I have to turn the blade of my hand from in his elbow to here. Now, once I'm there, my knee just has to get over his wrist. The big mistake a lot of people make is they try to lock it on the wrist. It doesn't apply pressure. You just have to have his wrist just outside your knee. Once I'm here, then you're just pulling the blade through. Questions on there? You can go the other way with this. I don't like it as much. Yeah, you end up with your pressure in a weird spot. So I like to come this way with it because it allows me to then come here. If he starts to counter, I can rip through the armbar. Yeah, I'm using the blade of that. Okay, first of all, where's your belt? Okay, cool. So you're not even a person today. Let's discuss that. White belts are barely people, but you're not wearing a belt, so you're not a person. So, questions on that? Force the roll, follow the arm, break the grip. All right, drill her out. 1, 2.